Yes, new year, new you, but new plugins. Am I right? I went ahead and tested out a ton of the newer free plugins for 2026, and I've narrowed it down to some gems that I think will offer something different, something unique to your workflow. And the best part is that they're free 99. So let's take a look. So the first plugin I want to show you guys is called Deja Vu, and it essentially mimics the sort of tape slowdown effect, but you can get it to reset during playback at certain intervals so that it always kind of stays in time with whatever the interval is that you set. So let's take a listen to what it does here. You'll see this knob on the left is, it gives you a time frame. That's how long it will take it to actually engage. So you can use this as effect real time in your track if you want to. So if we press the power button here, and of course you can change each one of these intervals to something smaller or bigger. So let's go smaller. Now, to understand these intervals a little bit better, the reason that they're there is if you didn't have those, then when you slow down your track, it would just extend really far beyond the end of the loop, for example, because it's longer, because it's slower. What this does is it keeps updating where you are in the loop so that it will actually stay in time. But you can also use these intervals creatively too. So maybe you want to create a different type of groove with some audio that you have like this. You can actually click this 1.5 times mode and it sounds like this. Check it out. The cool part though is you can increase the fade in and fade out time on, like, say you're the master of your track and create like a cool outro or maybe a cool bridge. So, you know, maybe the loop is ending here and you just want to slow it down, let's say. But you can imagine, you know, if you have your vocals and your drums on there and everything at the same time, it's really, really nice to be able to slow everything down at once. It's kind of a cool effect that you can use. Now, the second plugin I want to show you guys is called Pancake 2 by Cable Guys. And it's a cool panning plugin because it allows you to creatively pan stuff inside of, you know, any track that you put it on. And if you imagine like using an auto pan, you're kind of limited by some of the LFO shapes. And then if you instead wanted to like automate things and draw things in by hand, not only does that take extra time and it's not as sleek, but then you have to copy it throughout the entire song. And if you want to change one little part, then you have to redraw it and then copy it all over again. This takes care of all of that. And it makes it really fun to pan stuff around creatively. The really cool part about this too is that you can see exactly where on the waveform your panning is going to be applied, depending on the time frame that you choose here. So let's take a look. You can choose something like very simple like this. Change the time frame to something faster. Triangle wave, this would be kind of like what an auto pan could already accomplish. But now, if we start drawing in some really cool things, right? Maybe you want to do something creative like this. Snap it to the grid a little bit here. We could even randomize the points that we have now for some more ideas. You can even kind of shift down your automation like this in a cycle to change, you know, where each thing is happening. And let's say that we were happy with this little pattern that we made. We can also create some different creative options by using some of these other patterns and start messing around with some other ways to warp the sound in terms of the stereo image and kind of alternate between them if we want to. So really, really cool plugin and a cool tool to be able to have in your arsenal. Now let me ask you a question. Have you ever wanted to degrade, like truly degrade the quality of your audio? And I'm not talking in terms of like warping the pitch. I'm not talking in terms of bit crushing. I mean like literally degrading it so that it sounds like some YouTube video from 2004 or something, and it's really low quality MP3. Well, now you can do that with a plugin called Codec. And not only that, you can actually get creative with the way that it sounds. So let's take a look. So this right here is Codec, and I love this plugin. I love the color of it. I love the visuals they use with it to kind of show you a little bit about what's happening with your sounds. It kind of mimics that low quality MP3 sound. So if we just play this and we reduce the bit rate here, we get that kind of nasty sound. Now, we can also do some other things too. We can increase the amount of dropouts, almost kind of like a FaceTime call or something is you're losing it, like you're losing connection. It's really cool. So check this out. You can also turn on this, it's called this repeating loss mode. So it will kind of stutter and freeze a little bit. Check this out. Kind of reminds me of that scene in The Matrix when Neo's like, he's like first getting into the Matrix and he kind of screams and it turns into almost like this MP3 sound. No. Now, one thing that they added too was the ability to, it's called packet disorder amount, and it really messes around with this sound a lot. So check this out. If we increase the bit rate here a little bit. So you can get really creative with the nostalgic feel, but also kind of, this packet rearranging and the dropout sound. It's really cool. You can even add some noise to make the algorithm sound even more crazy. Now, the next plugin on the list is called Haze. It's kind of like a chorus and a phaser and a reverb combined into one. So if you've ever wanted to take sort of a basic sound and really make it come to life in terms of atmosphere, this is the plugin for you. So right off the bat, look at the quality of the visuals on this plugin. I mean, it's ridiculous. Let's first take a listen to what this basic sound sounds like. So nothing special in terms of the stereo image, and now we're going to enhance it here. So if I turn on our Haze plugin, so first if we just increase this decay time, we can kind of increase the amount of the reverb here. And then if we increase the spread, we can make it wider. And the density, sort of make it sound more complex. And then we have these two knobs over here, which kind of change everything at the same time, right? So the scale, we get more of like a metallic sound. And then as we increase it, sort of sounds more spacey. And we can also do some similar things with the motion here too. Kind of start to hear those pitch differences a little bit better too. Now, along the same lines, another really, really good plugin to get for, making those sort of lush style atmospheric sounds from more basic ones is Valhalla's Supermassive. And I'm a big fan of this plugin because it's not your normal delay and reverb. I mean, it is a reverb and it does have sort of a delay network that it uses, but it's all about using reverbs that or spaces rather, that sound different, and they're not trying to sound extremely realistic. So it's a really nice thing to have around in case you want things to sound a little bit different. This one's really, really fun to use. And if you go to maybe a something more like this, some different mode here. Oh, it just sounds amazing. One new feature that they added this year with the newest update, and it's still free by the way in version 5, is they actually ironically added in more of a regular style of reverb, and the mode is called Serious, right? And there's a ton that you can choose from too, and they all have different sounds. So this is really something that I recommend having, especially if you want to get a little weird, which I know you do. Now this next plugin is, I think, really cool because it has a lot to do with my general theory about creativity, and that's that if you're looking for a creative breakthrough of some kind, you need to place constraints upon yourself, and that will force you to actually find more creative solutions and be more creative in general. So if we just take a look at what this plugin looks like, there's no knobs, no sliders, it's just text like this to inspire you and to constrain you in different ways. So this says design a melody inspired by Morse code or rhythmic beeps. So super creative prompts. And if we want a new task, I just like to reopen it. And this next one is resample your track at 8-bit quality and build from there. This next one is add a random sound and make it essential, which I love because you already, have a lot of the building blocks in your songs, maybe things that you already love, and now you have to do something random and make it sound good, right? So that's the end of our newer plugins to take into 2026. If you have any plugins that didn't quite make this list that you want to add, I'd love to hear from you in a comment below. And as always, happy music making, happy new year, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.